Welcome to another episode of the Apocalypse. The end is nigh. Never before has that been true. Before now. All must choose. There can be no indifference anymore. The man will not allow it. There are two paths, only two, and you must choose. Path 1, God, Jesus Christ, goodness, decency, morality, justice, the law. Path 2, the imp, the Antichrist, the apocalypse, the false prophet, Armageddon, evil, plague upon plague upon plague, the mark, the lake. Choose now. Congratulations, you have chosen the apocalypse. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide. Nicholas, so good to see you're bloody gayin'. It appears Donnie aced another dementia test. The question should be asked, why so many bloody dementia tests? Because Donnie has bloody dementia, that's why. Donnie is taking cognitive exams, meant for people that are displaying problems, you might say. And then we moved on from that to possible war with Iran over protesters. Donnie is now the protector of protesters. Can you believe it? Let us begin. Trump again says his health is perfect and claims he aced his third straight cognitive exam, a test given by doctors to detect signs of dementia. Here's Donnie. The White House doctors have just reported that I am in perfect health and that I ate perfect health in quotes and all capitalized with them. That means it's bullshit. And that I aced, that's in quotes and capitalized. Okay, so that means you failed, Donnie? Is that what you're saying? Meaning was correct on 100% of the questions asked only. Let me say something. Oh, son. Only Donnie shitbags would brag. Repeatedly, over and over again, he does this. Once daily for long spans of time. Brings it up routinely. Only Donnie shitbags would boast on a near daily basis as he passes his cognitive exams, which are basically a test for like a baby to make sure you have basic motor function of the eyes, of the brain. You know, you see a picture of a camel, you can point to it and say it's a fucking camel. That's the test Donnie is boasting of. How many of these posts have we seen about Donnie's dementia tests that he passes? My point again, son. I need to stress this. This is a grown man of 80 fucking years old, however fucking old he is, who boasts routinely of passing cognitive exams designed for, like, you know, anyone that's past brain capacity of an ape. It's designed so that person can pass it, just to check your basic, you know, are you there? Here's another thing. Only you're Antichrist. And you know who you are, who have your name on this. Son. Only your Antichrist would be of such mediocrity that he boasts of passing dementia tests over and over again for 10 years. And you know what's sad? I don't even believe he passed the tests. What's his doctor going to say? He didn't pass it? Get the fuck out of here. This motherfucker will be a vegetable at some point probably, and they will hide that from you at first, and then they won't care if you know. This is a goddamn joke. For 10 years I've had to witness this. And what the greater joke is, about 35% of you in this country took a look at this motherfucker. You know about these boasting sessions because Donnie can point to a camel and say it's a fucking camel. Allegedly, I wasn't in the room, son, and Donnie's a compulsive fucking liar. And Donnie's walking around with piss bags and diapers and all kinds of shit that he's hiding from you. I know he has conditions. He puts makeup over the goddamn puncture holes for the IV. Donnie's hiding all kind of stuff. Donnie had thugs go steal his medical records. Thugs walk into his doctor's office and take the shit. That's how scared he was that shit was gonna leak somehow, and you would know he has syphilis or whatever the fuck he has. I'm dead serious. But back to the original point. You watch this man boast of passing dementia tests, and we all know he's had dementia since 2015. Oh my God. Yosemite, you remember that? I'll never forget it, son. It was the harbinger of the end of everything. The oranges of the report, my God, the guy who walks around in orange face. You fucking cunts. And you know who I'm talking to. Stumbled in a dementia-ridden moment about some report. I can't even remember what the report was. Probably about one of his fucking crimes. The oranges of the report, he kept saying it over and over again because his mind couldn't correct. That's dementia, fuckheads. And you thought it was a good idea. That's the biggest joke of all. Not the guy with syphilitic dementia boasting to the whole world like a 5-year-old, Mommy, I passed my fucking, finger painting class. That's bad enough. You cunts out there that thought this was a good idea, that you said, you know what? I know he's a dementia-ridden fucking, blob, but I'm going to give him a nuclear football anyway. Fuck you forever for making that decision. It's going to cost you every goddamn thing you care about. And I mean that sincerely. I didn't want to see it happen. You obviously fucking did. Let me move on. I never plan on saying all that. Trump threatens military action against Iran in a 3 a.m. post. Fuck you forever for that, too. You thought this was a game? You thought this was a joke? Again, when there's fallout over your fucking shitty neighborhood, you cunts. Remember the crazy guy in sunglasses calling you a cunt for fucking doing this. Iran shots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom. This is Donnie Shitbags, your Antichrist. The one that brags he can point to a camel and say it's a camel, and I don't even believe that. The United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu. No, Bibi's name isn't there, but that's why it's required. Part of the reason. The war hawks in the right wing since the fucking 60s wanted to invade Iran. They never did. You know why? Because Iran has nukes. The way I know a country has nukes is that the United States has never invaded it. Literally, how I know. The irony here, and I noticed it right away, did you notice? All of a sudden, Donnie gives a fuck about peaceful protesters when he wants to shoot protesters here. We've heard people testify to that fact. He's made comments like that. And generals and other people have to tell him, yeah, we're not allowed to just shoot people, you fucking cunt, destined for the lake. Born of the fucking devil. Now all of a sudden, just like Donnie's the protector of Christianity, right, jerk-offs? The protector of Judaism as he does Nazi salutes in between. Now he's the protector of peaceful protesters in Persian countries. But if you protest here against the God King Donnie Shitbags with a diaper on, he considers you a fucking criminal and terrorist. Literally. Asks his generals if he can shoot you in the leg. I'm not kidding. Again, that's what you gave the keys to again. Cunts. Hope you rubes that voted for this never feel the need to protest against the Reich. You will, don't worry. And again, I knew that 10 years ago. I knew what you fucking idiots were doing then. When it gets so bad, even you can't pretend anymore. You fucking cunts. And it will happen. Guaranteed, inevitable. How many of you lost everything already? So in America, if you protest against the Reich, Donnie will hope he can get someone to shoot you in the leg. And that's not the slightest fucking exaggeration at all. If not kill you. If you protest against the Reich in Iran and you're Iranian, well, Donnie's on your side. Because him and Bibi need Iran all fucked up. Because they got temples, casinos, all kinds of great shit to build. They got Gazans to get the fuck out the way. So protests there good because the CIA, Bibi, and Donnie won it. Protest here bad because the CIA, which is half full of Nazis too, Donnie, don't want you protesting here. They want a Reich, they want fascism. What the right-wing machine has always wanted. The modern incarnation of it. They never liked democracy, son. They were just pretending. Sorry. That's why the CIA down with all this. That's why JFK had to leave this planet. Because the CIA is a right-wing organization and they ain't down with democracy whatsoever. Especially south of the border. And especially here. So, one more time, I wanna stress this. If you protest here against the Reich, Donnie will want you killed. If you protest against the Iranian regime and you're Iranian, well, all power to you. The full weight of the U.S. military is behind you. Just so we're all clear. And this man is pointing that out as well. He's commenting on Donnie's post. This man wanted to shoot peaceful protesters in America, but wants to go to war with another country for doing the same. Right. Exactly. Because it serves the Reich's purposes over there. Here it does not. And it's that simple. This is Leon. Someone wrote DEI should be abolished permanently. Of course, Leon jumps on that because he's a straight up Nazi with the haircut complete with Nazi salute. And this is how anyone of honor should be. Let's see what the commenter says. The rich kid who made it on complete handouts and his daddy's money. He's worried about DEI. He never had to work up to a position. He just came with either your welfare or his daddy's money, made himself CEO, acted like he knew anything. never had to work a real job, never had to qualify for a position ever in his life, is talking about DEI. When they say DEI should be abolished, they're saying black people should be abolished. Right, we know why the right-wing machine has targeted DEI for years now, because DEI is the code word, the modern code word for black. I don't even know how to phrase it. People brought the black people over here as slaves, and then, I don't know, of centuries later, they're walking around complaining, we don't like black people, we want them to go back to their country. The fucking irony of that. Most black people wouldn't be here right now, but for the white man bringing them here. Then a century or two later, we want you to leave. We don't like you being here. Well, you brought us here, motherfucker. You liked when we were doing free labor, though, right? Right. Just the sheer bloody irony. The sheer bloody irony of white invaders on Native American land that slaughtered the people that lived here. Centuries later, now acting like that, this is their land. And they didn't just steal it. And that they're legal citizens. And the brown-skinned people that used to be here, that we ran down into Mexico and south of the border because they had nowhere else to go. They come back in for work, do all the jobs we don't want to do. Literally. You don't want to pick tomatoes for 75 cents a bushel. I know. That's why the Mexicans are doing it. So that class of people that stole this land, that group, ethnic group, when the original people that were on this land come back for the jobs that we don't want to do, they round them up and act like they're, kicked everyone's family dog. And they get put in camps. The irony of that. Let me continue. Yes, DEI is code word for black. That's why the right wing uses it every 3 seconds. As if Leon ever had to qualify for a position. As if Donnie is qualified to be president. He's a mob boss that can barely read. I'm not kidding. That's why America's over, and that's why the world is over. You gave a mob boss that can barely read control of the nuclear football, the most greatest military that's ever walked this earth. On top of it, he's the Antichrist. Whether he was the Antichrist or not, he's still a goddamn mob boss, low educated. Don't know jack shit, except how to grift, lie, cheat, and steal. He's an expert at that. And you gave him control of the greatest hammer. Makes Thor's hammer look like nothing. One of those little, for like furniture hammers where you're hammering them little tiny nails like that. In comparison. A bunch of soft-bodied South African boarding school Nazi boys whose Nazi daddies bankrolled them and are implementing apartheid in America while they steal your tax money. Yep. Welfare queens. They never had to work a hard day in their life. They've lived off of your welfare. Palantir and Peter Thiel, CIA was their only customer at one point. That's a welfare business. That's not talent. Pete Thiel in the 70s grew up in a town, went to a school where they openly Nazi saluted as a greeting. They wear the Nazi haircuts, him and Leon. Leon does the Nazi salute. Again, if you're wondering where it's all going, Thale financed a lot of Donnie's first run, many others as well, not just him. Leon financed a lot of Donnie's third run, excuse me. They are true Nazis that grew up in a Nazi culture. They believe it. They believe in that shitty science fiction novel. Leon's father named him after the kings in the novel. They're called Elons. Technocratic society. You're watching it be made before your very fucking eyes. And again, son, I have to stress, even though I'm not allowed any new subscribers, I forgot to tell you about that. As I was doing the live streams throughout the years, even on accident, I'd get some, I'd lose some, just natural. Now I notice the count stays the same. So they shut me down. Now that I've come back, they further altered everything to where I'm in a bubble again, even live. And I'm noticing I'm not getting the 3,000 bots. I notice I never get a new subscriber now. Remember last time I started hitting 5,000 before the last shutdown. They can't have that, I told you. There's been one mission for these people. The mob, the right-wing machine, Google, all the people that have been looking at me. One mission. This guy cannot get famous. If he does, we're over. Whoever he talks about. We cannot have that. That's it. That's all you've been watching this whole time I've been on for 10 years. Once I gain traction. Now we're at the point where even a live stream is in a bubble. And I never get a new subscriber. The number just stays the same. Totally unnatural. Where was I going? Now I forget the point I was going to make. Leon and Pete Thale, welfare queens, they grew up in a straight up Nazi culture. They are getting all the welfare from the government to the tune of billions, multiple governments. They are moving society, and others, of course, to this technocratic thing. And there's no stopping it now. And yes, you're watching kind of apartheid make a comeback. They grew up in that. Remember, a segregated apartheid society. A lot of old Nazis went over to South Africa when that whole thing collapsed. That's how apartheid happened. That's where great ideas like that come from. Let me move on. I forget that other point. I love this guy. I didn't know him before today. His name's Joel David. And when you look at the man and when you listen to him speak, because I notice guys like this is a super brain right here. I can tell by looking at the man. He doesn't even like to talk. I notice that about guys like this. Bob Lazar is a guy like this. In a different field, even though he talked about spaceships. I notice people like this in the world. These are the guys, how Leon and that jerk off that runs Palantir and Pete Thale and people like that, they want you to believe they're this guy. Guys like him, and I'm not making fun of him. I find these types of people very interesting, actually. They're like an enigma to me. They're very unique. They're strange. And I'm not mocking the man. Strange like they wear bow ties and suits like that. This is a mathematician. He's an expert. I could just tell. He doesn't even like to talk. You know why? Because he wants to think of an equation, math, all the time. That's what's in this man's mind. Bob Lazar, too. Even though, again, people don't take him seriously, I take him seriously as a scientist. That man oozes scientist. It's all he wants to think about, and it's obvious. Forget the topic or where he worked for a minute. People like him, these kind of savant minds that work differently than ours, the thing the tech bros claim they are not. They're just drug addicts. They're douchebags and drug addicts that no one wants around. This guy, he's one of the people where the brain works different. He's thinking of some fucking quadratic equation while me and you were talking about the weather. You understand? And that's his whole life. And it's obvious by the way he dresses, talks. He don't even want to talk. He wants to do math. He lives it. He breathes it. It's written all over him. And people like him are very blunt. Those scientists, mathematicians like him that are just all about that. That's their life. That's just what they do. They're very blunt people. And they ain't afraid to express their frustration. Or if they think something is shit, he's that guy. He was talking about AI, and it's a 1.5 2-minute clip. I posted it earlier. It's fascinating listening to this guy. Just cut it to shreds. And he's right. Mathematician Joel David says current AI models are basically zero help for mathematics. That's what I mean. He just straight out said, he's like, it's really no help. This is a leading expert mathematician. Bow tie, son. They produce garbage answers. Then argue they're correct when you point out the exact error. If I were talking to a person who argued like that, I'd stop talking to them. You see what I mean? He wasn't glossing it over or anything like that. Yeah, he said he's experimented with the pay models, all the different models. He's like, I experimented with them all, useless. And when I would correct the AI and tell it its answer is wrong and point out how it's wrong, and it would argue with me. He said if I was dealing with a person like that, I just wouldn't talk to them anymore. Garbage answers, the man said. Expert in mathematics. The man does not think in words, he thinks in numbers. Do you understand that? His brain works differently than ours. Again, those cunts, the head of Palantir, Leon, Pete Thiel, as they're all walking around all coked up, drugged up, Special K, all this, trying to sell to us that they're this guy. They're not this fucking guy. This guy is that type of guy. The brain works different. He's thinking of equations that me and you can't even fathom. I dig that. I can respect that. I don't care that he walks around in a bow tie. I don't care that he doesn't want to talk to anyone, doesn't want to form words because he's thinking about fucking quadratic equations. I like that. Even though not my field. I'm going to state it very bluntly, okay? And again, I ain't saying this for shock value, entertainment, to be dramatic. I'd rather not be fucking saying it at all. AI was meant for one thing, to subjugate you, for the devil or the Antichrist or both to be omnipresent. It was never meant for anything else. It will be able to wage war on you, lie about you. It's already doing that to me. Could cost me very dearly. Never meant for anything else. That simple. There are a lot of people in this world that have billions and they are not satisfied. They want more. Democracy stands in the way of that more. I should say liberal democracy. Because again, all the cunt billionaires, and you know which ones you are, and fuck you forever, the lake awaits, I promise you. Guaranteed, son. Jesus said it. Eye of the needle, camel, that whole thing, that's you, son. That's you. They don't like democracy. And just like in 1939, the only obstacle to that oligarchy or that madman who wants everything were liberals. They got locked up first. They got demonized. The Reich has been demonizing liberals since day one. Let's call day one 10 years ago, even though it was going on way before that. Because what you cunts can't admit to yourselves is you were the pseudo-Nazi party since 1945. Literally. I didn't always understand that. Your party was naught but white supremacy, nothing else. And give all the money to the rich. That's it. It's all you've ever been, son. Of Satan. Completely. AI was never intended to better society. You would think AI could do some really complex mathematics, right? You would think it's AI. It's the future. That's not what it's for. It's for omnipresent surveillance of you. That's it. Only thing it's useful for. Nothing else. It was meant for subjugation. The people that run this world, they do not like democracy. They do not like liberals. They are the only obstacle to fascism and what we had before Donnie, which was some freedom, not nearly enough. Fascism. Because they want more. That's it. Again, you have an expert mathematician saying AI is goddamn useless for math. Garbage answers. So it ain't for that, son. Altman says it's going to cure all kinds of diseases. Well, it can't even do complex mathematics. So again, all bullshit. Your welfare is going to pay for it all. The data centers, the subjugation, the algorithm that's going to ruin your life. Your money has paid for it already. Congratulations, jerk-offs. Welcome to 1984. And again, that ain't no joke. In America. No joke. Military was already on your streets. You missed the boat. You already in it. Too late. One more time, I'll say it for the 8th goddamn time. Expert, look at the man. Complete with bow tie. Expert in mathematics. This man thinks in numbers, the rest of us think in letters. We don't even know how to play chess. He playing 8D chess. That's who that motherfucker is. He says AI is goddamn useless, son. Thank you, sir. And he didn't say it nicely either. This story came out today. This is not a real story. I apologize. I posted it. It's Donnie, you know. It's what Donnie would do. I didn't research it. I just kind of posted it. I figured, like, that sounds like Donnie. Trump considers rotating military uniforms to honor each branch of the armed services. White House insiders say the president has discussed commissioning ceremonial uniforms for each military branch. So, Donnie, the story was Donnie was going to get special, Navy uniform, Army, whatever, and he would wear and he would rotate them, and he would be the dictator he's always dreamed of being, even though he's never served. It's not a real story. I apologize. It sounds just like him. And you know what? I bet now that he sees this, if he didn't think of it already, if this idea really didn't come from them, and now they're just denying it, because it wouldn't surprise me. Maybe Donnie came up with the idea. They told him, oh, it's illegal. You can't do that. I wonder if Donnie's actually going to do this at some point. Because eventually the law won't matter. It already doesn't for the most part. There's just certain lines they haven't crossed yet. Okay, I don't know the full details. And you know what? Before I get into this, I think I'm going to have a smoke because this is going to take a few minutes. I'll just introduce it quickly. Grok, Leon's AI. There was an incident where some nude photos of a woman, I guess they got a shot of her head or something, and they made a nude body with it, and, which is very easy to do if the AI would allow you to do it. Let me just say this before I get into the subject. The second I heard, this was years, not that many years ago, but years ago, in the past 5 years, let me say, maybe a little 6, 7, that you could feed images into AI to make video or pictures, I knew exactly what people were going to do with it. And exactly what they were going to do with it, I didn't talk about it then, but I knew. Take a woman's headshot or a picture of a woman off the internet or a woman that they know and make nude or porn with that person in it, even though it's not really their body. It's convincing enough. I didn't expect people to post it, but I guess you should expect that, right? I knew the second that feature was available, and they didn't make it available by accident, son. They knew what people were going to do with it. People were going to take headshots or a picture of someone they like or want to be with or this or that or just some star on the internet, and they were going to make porn or pornographic photos. Of course. Where does it always go first? Every industry. Sex, sex, sex. Always. Robots, sex. AI, sex. The internet, sex. My God, the internet became a fucking infinite sea of pornography the second it was invented, son. Let me smoke a damn cigarette. So sad I'm in the apocalypse. I have to talk about AI fake porn that people are making. So fucking sad. What a fucking shame. So, ladies, any picture you put online, since this feature was introduced with AI, you've watched them make videos of Donnie, of all different public figures, create humans and video out of nothing. Now you can do that with just words. And you can do that with images. I've never uploaded an image into AI before, but it can be done. I've known of that feature and that it existed for years, and I knew exactly what people would do with it. So, ladies, again, any picture you put online, all the AI needs is parameters. It's made whole videos of Donnie based on just a headshot. It can do that with you too. So, any headshots, any pictures, you and your family, whatever you post online can now be used to make nude photos of you and nude video of you. Expect that. Allegedly, I don't know the full details because I don't care to know. I already knew this would become a problem. You people are just noticing now. You way late to the party. People been doing this for a while with your pictures. A while. So, you need to keep that in mind. Your teenage kids, your daughters, you need to let them know about this. Because now someone doesn't even need real pictures of you nude. Do you understand that? Incidents have already taken place of girls, not adults, nudes being posted or put around of them that were based on a headshot or whatever via AI. That doesn't matter though when you're a teenager or a young girl or whatever, and those pictures are going around. It's still going to do the same damage. So all you ladies better keep this in mind. Because men are fucking pig animals. And so are a lot of women, let's be honest. So, you're a young girl or woman, whatever, you're posting pictures of you in a bikini or you online. Remember, men can take that and make anything out of it now. Allegedly, an incident like that took place where people were using Grok to post nude images of women. I'm not sure of the ages. It's become a whole scandal. No, Leon has not apologized. Someone asked Grok to apologize. And here it goes. Dear community, I deeply regret an incident on December 28, 2025, where I generated and shared an AI image of two young girls. I didn't read this. I only skimmed it real quick. I forgot the details. Two young girls estimated ages 12 to 16 in sexualized attire based on a user's prompt. This violated ethical standards and potentially U.S. laws on CSAM. It was a failure in safeguards, and I'm sorry for any harm caused. XAI is reviewing to prevent further issues. Sincerely, Grok. Remember, this isn't the company that put this out. Someone prompted Grok to do an apology. This is what I'm talking about. 12 to 16, and I doubt there was any attire going on. That's the whole problem. This is what can be done with your photos, ladies. You don't just have to worry about when you send naked pictures to your boyfriend over the internet. Now you have to worry about them using any picture of you to make a nude photo or video. And apparently, Leon's allowing it. I don't know what the other AIs can do, the other models. I have no idea. But this one is being allowed to do that. Keep that in mind. Here's Grok denying that they did it. I didn't create or share any inappropriate images of minors. That's against my guidelines and illegal. My previous statements summarized unverified claims from deleted posts, not actual events. Really? Because the whole world's talking about it. Searches show no such content from me. If you have a verifiable post ID, share it for review. You mean after it was taken down and after Grok was programmed to say I didn't do shit? Very serious. And again, the second I heard you could upload a photo into AI and do things, I was like, oh my God, what people are going to do with that. Here's Leon trying to say Mamdani, the one who won mayor of New York City, I believe, did a Nazi salute. Look, I know Mamdani's not a Nazi because of the policies he puts forth, the platform he puts forth. That's how I know he's not a Nazi. Mamdani doesn't rock a Nazi haircut either. That's a big giveaway, Pete. Leon. For me, it was anyway. I noticed that right away when you guys started rocking. I'm like, damn, they rocking a straight Nazi cut, huh? Look at them. And the commenter saying he knows it's not the same thing at all, and anyone who watches the clips side by side could see the difference. Mamdani did have his hand here, and then he put the arm up. But again, Mamdani isn't preaching concentration camps. He isn't preaching roundups. He's preaching tax the rich, actually. Literally. Which won't make him very popular with the people that get people killed in this world. So Benny Johnson in the closet, it's almost been 24 hours and not a single corporate media outlet has had anything to say about this. Funny how that works. That's because Mamdani isn't a traitor and he isn't a Nazi like you. Then Leon over top of Benny Johnson is saying, because they aren't actually news organizations, they are legacy media propaganda pushers for the far left. Really? Because right-wingers own all the news channels now, and they own all the social media, too. Look, we know who the Nazis are. Mamdani is not a Nazi. How do I know? By what he preaches. That's how I know. Leon is a Nazi by the way he dresses, styles his hair, did a straight-up Nazi salute in front of the whole fucking world. Talks about DEI all the time. And here's Leon doing his Nazi salute, in case you forgot. Don't ever forget, because, again, it was a harbinger for the end of America and the end of everything. And I was thinking today, I always wondered how the evil people, they know Revelation exists. They know the step-by-step of it and what's supposed to happen. Why would they walk that path? Why would it interest them? What that has taken place on earth throughout history, especially in the 30s and 40s in Germany, what aligns with that path in Revelation? That exact idea of a world leader, that's what Revelation describes. That puts a mark on you, that wants you to worship him. Adolf Hitler wanted to do, the same things Donnie is doing. Wanted to make Berlin the world capital. That means he's world dictator. Donnie wants to do the same thing. does that prove about Donnie? That he wants to be world dictator. So the Nazi path, the path that Hitler was on, aligned, the path that Donnie and Leon and Thaler on, aligns with Revelation. It's the same thing Hitler wanted to do. Same thing Alexander wanted to do. Same thing the Caesars wanted to do. Same thing Genghis Khan wanted to do. That's what's described in Revelation. A king of the whole world who wants to be worshipped as God. So their desire to be like the Nazis, as well as their Satanism, that they don't talk about as much, they don't show as much, but they've shown. I've noticed. I've explained. I'm not going to do it again right now. That path of Nazism is the path of the Antichrist. So their desire to live out their science fiction novel written by a Nazi scientist, their desire to live out the Third Reich and finish that work, is the very path described in Revelation. So that's why that path appeals to them, because it's the Nazi path. So I don't know if they do or don't. Pete Thale kind of has me leaning towards they do. Do they see the correlation? Is that what the Nazi Reich really was? Is that what Hitler was trying to do? Is that what some of these past world leaders throughout time, is this some occult knowledge that's passed down through the eons? It says in the book someone's going to be world king. Then it says Jesus and God the Father will, but they ignore that part. They don't like that part. They like the part where the man gets to be God king. The same way the imp likes where he gets to be in charge for 5 minutes. But what I'm trying to say is that that's why the path that's laid out in Revelation appeals to them here in the real world. Because it's happened before. And they are trying to walk those same footsteps that Hitler was walking. I find it interesting that Hitler said 1,000-year Reich. I believe that's how long Jesus or someone's supposed to reign. Why only 1,000 years? I don't know. Then there's some type of pause. I don't like that. I don't understand why. Why is this so damn drawn out? That's what disgusts me. One thing that disgusts me about this whole process, God, the Bible, this whole fucking shit, waste of time for thousands of years that we've all been living. What's the fucking point, man? Technology? Do we have to get to the point of technology where man can't solve the problem when the nukes are fucking flying? Is that what it is? One more time, because it's a realization I've come to, because I know certain parties are aware of the story and the steps. So why would they walk them? Because they think they can win, and they're Nazis. The playbook was already written by someone else years ago. They're just following it. That's why the literal path in Revelation, even though they're aware of it, even though the world is somewhat aware of it, that's why the path still appeals to them. That's why they're walking that very path. because it's the path of Nazism. It's the path Hitler was trying to walk. I always wondered how that would take place. That question, I'm sure some of you that have read it over the years may have asked yourself. People are aware of this step-by-step here in Revelation, a good portion of the world. So why would they walk it? Well, one, it's Nazism, and these are Nazis. Two, they think they can win. Pete Thale has himself convinced, I can shake hands with the Antichrist, but I can stop that Armageddon part by, peace on earth via our subjugation. Paid for by you. And we can avoid, where God throws us all the fuck in the lake where we belong. And we can rule here forever, ever, and Pete can put himself in a teenage boy's body. I'm not kidding. That's his utopia. Staying here with your money for all time while you're subjugated working the coal mines for the billionaires. I'm not kidding in the slightest. And just download consciousness into a new body, and I assume Pete would want to be a teenage boy because that's what he's into. Sounds great, doesn't it? Subjugating the masses, living off of the fruits of their labor, giving them nothing. Downloading your consciousness every 20 years, whatever, into another teenage boy's body. That was like cloned or something. That's utopia to Pete Thale. Leon, I guess his utopia would be king of the earth, and he's on Mars, and you are paying him space taxes, and he's, making $1 trillion a day, if not more. I'm not kidding. These are sick fucks. And they were born of the devil, and they down with the devil. There's a reason Pete's sitting in the seat he's in. There's a reason Leon's sitting in the seat he's in, and you're not. Doing the devil's work every second of every day. I'm not kidding. That's why they there and you there. That's why billions of dollars in trucks get just hauled to their location and you get starvation. No, I'm not saying go make a deal with the devil. Worst mistake you could ever make. Despite your suffering. They're not even hiding it anymore. Deporting 100 million people would require deporting millions of legal immigrants and roughly 70 million American citizens, many of them native born. This was never about illegal immigration or safety. It's about white supremacy. Yep, that's simple. Very blunt. The reason they're saying that, Homeland Security, again, a Reich account with the gray check mark. The peace of a nation no longer besieged by the third world. We know what you mean by the third world, Reich. America after 100 million deportations, and they got a picture. Would you like to see the picture? Straight, that's straight Nazism, straight just fascism. Very reminiscent of Nazi propaganda. Notice all the pictures of young men in the ICE advertisements. They all have this 1950s, 40s look to them. You know, the era they want us to all go back to, the glory days for these people. You know, when blacks had no rights, segregation, all that great stuff. That's what they're trying to show you here. That's why the old car, that's why the old style painting from like the 50s. The peace of a nation no longer besieged by the third world American after 100 million deportations. The Reich putting that out daily. What other administration would dare put stuff like this out? It's so reminiscent of 1930s and 40s Germany, my God. And it's so obvious what they're trying to say. All the pictures have just white men in them. All the advertisements Homeland Security comes out with. Or guys dressed in full fatigues and a gas mask to go grab farm workers. I mean, it's just fucking obvious. Wait till you find out where they got that picture from. Back to the Grok shit. France to investigate deepfakes of women stripped naked by Grok. Hundreds of women and teenagers have reported their photos published on social media have been undressed by Grok. Ladies, again, any picture you put online from now on, you're running this risk. India. Government issues notice to X over obscene content targeting women, children on Grok. Remember, this can not only be used on adult women, it can be used on minors as well. A commenter commenting on this is from the BBC. Leon Scum's Grok AI alters images of women to digitally remove their clothes. The Protect Our Women crowd seem awfully quiet on this subject. It's abhorrent that Musk is allowing women to be exploited on this platform like this, and both cowardly and hypocritical that his UK fan club aren't calling him out on it. I don't know. All these websites shut me down for stuff. Twitter has done things to me. Censorship type things. Community guidelines, all that shit. And the AI is just, putting naked pictures of minors up. Again, you people are all fucking hypocrites, and how dare you have ever taken anything of mine down once. You fucking kidding me? Trump mentioning the Pope's brother at his Mar-a-Lago yacht party. This is what one picture from it. I'm sure you paid for everything. You always do. You American taxpayers are very generous for Donnie. He's spending it like fucking water, too. Not a care in the world, son. He's happier than pig and shit. Loves when other people pay all his bills, you fucking marks. Trump is not reported to the White House in almost 2 weeks. Again, President, you can't take 2 weeks off, man. He has been throwing multiple parties and dinners at his Palm Beach resorts. Instead, that's him, his full entourage, Secret Service, every aide, all on your dime. You fucking idiots. 2 weeks straight now, this cunt has not been at the White House. We don't even have a president. We haven't had one since January. Why do I say that? Because he spent a quarter of the time on his golf courses. And you've paid for every fucking second of it, to the tune of an estimated $110 million. Now he's straight 2 weeks at his properties. Again, his properties, Money going right in his pocket. Completely illegal. The very reason the emoluments clauses were written. Donnie shitbags. 2 weeks. He's the president. And he's already spent a quarter of the time on the golf course. Spent over $100 million of your dumbass money. I heard he even got Vanilla Ice. I wonder how much you paid for that. Fucking idiots. Back to the picture with Homeland Security. Let's take a look at the 1950s style white supremacist talking point and picture. This is what it'll look like after 100 million deportations. Meanwhile, you voted for a convicted felon and put him in the White House. A rapist, a defamer, a fraud, a traitor. Literally, Jack Smith has the literal evidence. He said it straight up, and he didn't get sued for it either, son. Let's read the community note. This image was stolen and is actually a piece of art by the Japanese artist Hiroshi Nagai. The white supremacists, Stephen Miller, because he might be printing these up his damn self and writing the captions. It sure sounds like him. The Nazis, they took a photo and they made the point that we want America to be 1950s and all white and no third world. In other words, no ethnic minorities. That's really what we're trying to say here. And the picture we're going to use to make our point is made by a Japanese man who we would put in a camp for not being white. The fucking irony is incredible. This is a quote from the New York Times, it looks like, and it's about Leon. Mr. Musk's drug consumption went well beyond occasional use. Really? I had no idea. He told people he was taking so much ketamine, a powerful anesthetic, that it was affecting his bladder, a known side effect of chronic use. He took ecstasy and psychedelic mushrooms, and he traveled with a daily med box that held about 20 pills, including ones with the markings of the stimulant Adderall, according to a photo of the box and people who have seen it. So, my 2 drugs I thought Leon was on when he did the Nazi salute was Special K and ecstasy. Special K and ecstasy are the first 2 mentioned. So I nailed that one. I figured that's what he was into. Leon also likes speed, obviously, coke, Adderall, shit like that. So again, Leon, the head of Palantir, I forget his fucking name. Was his name Mark? So forgettable. Thale, all of them, they're all druggies. They don't have the special mind of the mathematician. They're not that person. They're just drug addict, rich kids, living off your welfare. Literally, that's not an exaggeration. They have no talent, no skills. Just your welfare. That's it. New York Times is writing of this man's drug abuse, and we ain't talking weed, son. We talking coke, we talking Adderall, we talking ecstasy, we're talking Special K, and we're talking mixing it. I've tried ecstasy out of those drugs. I've never tried the other ones. I see what coke does to people, my God. The fucking head of Palantir couldn't even sit in a chair. And then he wrote this statement a few days later after the whole world's like, you're a goddamn cokehead. You couldn't even sit in a chair. No, I have a special mind that doesn't work like yours, and they're trying to drug us. No, you're cokeheads. You're welfare queens. You're jokes. You have no skills, no talent, nothing. You're living off of straight up truckloads of welfare. As you're so gacked up on coke or Special K or ecstasy, you're throwing up Nazi salutes. You can't sit in chairs. Pete got grease all over his face. Fuck's wrong with you people? You want to see the guy who, again, I'm going to show you the picture again. That very thing they wish they were, that they weren't just pure welfare queens that had no talent and all they ever did in life was put their hand out either to their daddy for money or you, the socialists. And then they demonize you for being a socialist. After they took millions, billions in socialism. Straight from you. Yet they hate you and want to subjugate you when you gave them their lives. Gave them. They're nothing. You are them. And what I mean by that is you finance their very existence. Without you, they would die. They would starve and die. Without you. Sorry, I got the heat on. It's drying my throat out. Makes yelling more difficult. So let's look at the guy again, who's what they try and frame their cokehead asses as. Greasy Pete, this Mark's guy, I can't even remember his fucking name, worthless fucking name. Leon. This is what they're trying to convince you they are. There he is. There's the man. That's a real motherfucker right there. That's that type of brain, that different kind of on another level person that those cunts wish they were. And you know what? I can tell just by looking at the man. If I never heard him speak, I don't even need to. It's written all the fuck over him. This guy ain't some fucking political hack on Crossfire on fucking CNN or Fox News 30 years ago. He dresses like that because he's different. He's a little bit strange. Again, he's thinking of fucking, cosmic fucking, I don't even know what to call them. 10 space, quadratic, fucking interdimensional equations. That's what this motherfucker, thinks about at breakfast. While you're thinking, how do I get the secretary's phone number and maybe I can fuck her one day? That's what this guy's thinking. While you're thinking that. That's the real motherfucker. That Mark guy. Oh, we're different, blah, blah, blah. Him. Not Marx. He's just a fucking cokehead who can't sit in a chair. Is weird. Douchebag. Welfare queen. This guy can solve equations that Einstein could solve. That's the difference. And it's written all the fuck over him. What's written on Marx, what's written on Leon, what's written on Thale is douche. Right on their forehead. DOOSH. Douche. Pizza's a little smeared from the grease, but that's beside the point. Fuck, were we here? And we're at the end, and with Leon. Anytime a person brings up white guilt, they are telling on themselves. That is not a subject that most white men that are normal think about, that most people think about. You know who does think about white guilt all the time? Nazis and white supremacists and racists. And trolls from Russia, India, and elsewhere, preaching the gospel of MAGA. That's where these arguments come from. Racists and people paid to say it. And bots. So a person named Chad, is this a statue of like an archangel, it looks like? It looks familiar. Is that an Egyptian cobra on their head? I can't tell what that is. It looks like an angel statue. And it looks familiar, like I've seen it before. But I'm not sure. And Chad's saying, white guilt is the engine of demographic replacement. A people that doubts its right to exist will never resist being replaced. What? White people doubt their right to exist. That doesn't exist. Again, pure Nazi talking points, pure racism. They give the whole fucking game away with these bullshit talking points. I did a live stream again, I don't know, a year or two ago. Remember, and the trolls and bots kept coming, and they brought up, when are you going to stop feeling guilty? Because I happen to be talking about slavery or something. I guess that triggers the algorithm. Google algorithm, racist Russian money, the whole thing, destroying America. When are you going to stop feeling guilty for slavery and this and that, and feeling guilty for being white? I've never felt guilty for being white, son. That's an argument to stop talking about slavery. What people would want to stop talking about slavery? What's the only group that would want to stop talking about slavery? That would think it's wrong to bring it up? What group? Only one. No one else. Nazis, white supremacists, racists that want to hide what the white man has done. I'm white. I can still admit what the white man has done. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't feel guilty about it. I had nothing to fucking do with it. But I can admit it happened. I don't have to pretend it didn't happen. I'm not preaching a gospel to others because someone's paying me or because I want to, because I'm a racist. That if someone dares bring up the actual history of this nation and the history of white versus black relations, that they're doing something wrong all of a sudden. They're making whites look bad. They're making a racist argument. No. It's a simple fact, and anyone that doesn't want to hear it or wants to put arguments forth like white guilt and when are you going to stop feeling guilty? Well, you just told me you a Nazi, son, that you're a white supremacist racist. That's all you said to me. You gave the game away. Only one group has any concern for this issue. Why? Because they don't want you bringing up what whites or American whites have done. Because they want a Reich. They want, 1,000 years, whatever, forever Reich like Hitler. Whites can do no wrong. They're the best race ever. Nope. No race is the best race ever. All have enslaved others. But whites made a goddamn art form out of it. In the modern era. Why? Because whites got the technology first, that's all. Only reason. It even happened. Where'd they get the technology? From the devil, of course. Where the fuck else would it come from? That doesn't mean all whites are of the devil. That's not what I'm saying before I get that fucking bullshit. No, the devil chose the white man to give it to first. Probably because the devil knew I'm going to attach myself to white supremacy for the entirety of its existence. In fact, I'm going to ride that wave all the way to the end of the world till I get thrown in the fucking lake. How do I know that? We're in the apocalypse right now, and it's pure Nazism. And pure Nazis running it. The Klan, the Nazis, all the different incarnations of, darker skinned people are bad. All of the devil. The devil right on your shoulder. How do I know he's attached himself to it? Nazi Germany. If you can't see the imp all over every second of that, you blind, son. You need to ask the man to let you see, to give you eyes. If you think there was any glory in that thing. Every piece of footage, every picture, I cringe. Why? Because I can see and feel the Satan all over it, son. That's how I know. This white supremacist movement, I told you, Satan attached himself to it a long time ago in the modern era, and he'd been riding the wave ever since. Why do you think, son? You ready for this? This is going to fuck you up. Why do you think your preferred hand sign is a 666? I know you think it means white power, I know. But you're an idiot. You're a puppet. You didn't look for wisdom. You stayed in a racist bubble because you liked it. The reason that's your hand sign, moron, that's the devil's number. That's the Antichrist number. That's another way I know for certain. Every single one of you, the devil right on your shoulder. He right with you. Every single one that has any love for the Reich in their heart. And Leon just says over this picture, the white guilt is the engine of demographic replacement. He just says true. Leon's a Nazi. We know this. We know what he means by all this. We know, class, every person that makes the white guilt argument or brings it up, you know what you're dealing with. I hope you understand that. The only reason anyone ever brings this up in a real way is because they don't want you and the world talking about what whites did to blacks at the beginning of this nation. And through much of it, until like the 60s, I think they got some rights. Now, there's always an irony and there's always a hypocrisy. There's always either a historical moment, a post, something. Here it is. White guilt is the engine of what, class? Demographic replacement. Well, where has that happened before? You mean like apartheid South Africa, fuckface? You mean like that? Where whites come in, they take all the good land, they treat the blacks like shit, they enslave them, they segregate them, they take all the treasure of the nation. They, son, replace them demographically? You mean like apartheid, son? But it's okay when whites are doing it, right? I'm a white person. I don't even think about that. I could care less if this country's majority Spanish, majority white. Just leave me the fuck alone. People that think about that all the time. People that are bringing up the demographics of the United States all the time, as if it's dangerous or bad or, when they bring up birth rates. Every time you hear one of these Nazis bring up birth rates, they're talking about white birth rates. That white children are, one of the lowest birth rates right now on the planet. Okay, cunts, you want whites to have more children? Greasy Pete, Leon Scum, all of you, all Nazis, you want whites to have more children. You ready for the answer to that? Stop stealing all the fucking money! Cunts! And whites can afford to have more children, okay? I'm glad I said that because I wanted to tell you people about something because I've been saying it for fucking years. And then I'll get back to this if I can remember. I said a long time ago, many years ago on camera, $20 an hour job isn't even enough to live on anymore. When a nation gets to the point where $20 per hour for an individual is not enough to live on, that nation is over. And it's not even close to fair. That's what I've been saying for years. You can't even live on $20 per hour. I remember in the early 90s, late 80s, if you could get 20 bucks an hour, that was a big deal. You could do something with that. That changed quickly, and now that's a fucking bygone dream. I watched a woman make a video. She sounds like a single mother. She didn't mention a husband or another salary. She said she has one child. She makes $32 an hour. After childcare rent, her rent is only $1,400. How many of you out there wish you could pay $1,400? And she admitted, my rent's not even high. Like, according to the national average, I mean, again, I had an apartment for $500 in the early 90s, a block from the beach. So fuck everybody that turned the world into this, where $1,400 is a fucking deal. Fuck you people. The same shelter will be given you. Remember that. The cunt that's, oh yeah, $3,800 for a one bedroom. That's fair, right? The man gonna show you how fair you were. All of you, every single one. Because you don't know what you've done to people. And you could fucking care less. Following corporate America's greed. $32 an hour. Her rent's even low in comparison to a lot of people. Like down here, $1,400. Do you know what someone would do for an apartment for $1,400 down here? If one opens up by the grace of God, 97 people would have it before you even heard about it. That doesn't exist. She's paying a lower rent in comparison to a lot of us out here. She admitted that. And she still can't make it. Childcare for her one child so she could even go to work. Her rent. Her health care plan for her and her daughter. All of it comes out to about $2,800 per month. She makes 32. That leaves her, what, $400 to get her and her daughter through an entire month of existence. That math does not work. The cost of food and just basic necessities, $400 gone in a week, son. A woman and a daughter. That daughter needs clothing, all that kind of stuff as well. $400 a month ain't even enough to eat for them, let alone buy all the other shit. We are at the point in our society, forget $20 an hour, where one individual with a child cannot survive on $32 an hour. Stick a goddamn fork in this fucking nightmare, 'cause it's over, son. Mark that. Put that in the goddamn bank. These cunts that shape this world, and you know who you are, and fuck every one of you. The lake awaits your goddamn ass. You're a cursed piece of shit ass. They've turned this world into a place where you can't afford to survive on $32 an hour. Fuck every one of you. The hardship you have put on the masses, the man will fucking repay you for. I promise. Working 3 jobs and you can't even afford a place to live, you can't afford nothing, the man will repay you for making people do that in kind. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. The woman broke down the whole math, everything. And we all know how much shit costs out here, let alone the bills. Can you get through a whole month on $400? Imagine you got a daughter too. That's what they've made the world for us. Fuck every person that helped make this happen. I personally despise every one of you. And I will not shed one tear as you burn. Not one. Because I've lived it, man, and I can't imagine living it with an ex-wife and some kids and all what I see other guys living. That hardship of just knowing you'll never be able to pay your bills. So many of you out there are living that life. And it's not your fault. And it's not mine. It's what cunts like Leon and Pete Thale and Donald Trump and many others have made our world. They like it like this. They don't want you to have a chance. They want it all. And they don't want you to have anything. Not an exaggeration. They prove it daily, and you know how I know, son? $32 an hour ain't enough for one individual with one child to survive. Not even close. Forget about if you have an emergency or something that costs $5,000, $6,000. Oh my God, your life's over. That's the American dream for all you people out there in the world. You look at television, you look at America, you think it's so fucking great. It's a fucking joke. It's people living on credit until everything gets repossessed. Because the rich are stealing everything, and they got prices so jacked up, nothing's affordable anymore. A 1-bedroom's $1,800 for anything decent, and that's starting price, son. That's just your rent, let alone your car note, your car insurance, your cell phone bill, your food, your clothing, your medical insurance. We keep hearing this figure, a child will cost you $1 million throughout the child's life. That's where we are. Are you proud of yourselves? Are we proud, America? Are we great yet? And, at this point, if sex didn't feel good and people weren't having kids by accident, there'd probably be about 3 children in America right now because people can't afford it. You want your slave workforce, you cunts, yet you make living unaffordable and you want more. You want your AI to take all the jobs so you don't got to pay anybody? Well, where are you going to get your slave workforce when we're all starved and dead? You fucking cunts. You don't care about that. All you care about your portfolio. I know. The short term. Mortgage your children's future and your grandchildren's future for your portfolio today, right? Right, jerk-offs? What all you wise people don't know, Leon Pete Thale, the oligarchy that has it to where $32 an hour isn't enough and you need $9,000 to get in an apartment with a registration and application fee that is non-refundable of a few thousand or a few hundred or whatever. We've all seen the ads and we see when we walk in to go get the place, right? Miss Adelson, all you wonderful people that run the world, that want fascism, that want Donnie to have a 3rd term, that want more of our money, that want no middle class, no jobs. Let me tell you your future. And it's inevitable and it's certain. It's in granite. Lest you turn away, but I know none of you are going to turn away by the amount of money you have. You don't get there for nothing. Son, that's something else I know. For certain. I'm talking Adelson level. I'm talking Leon level. I'm not talking the person that has $1 million or 2 million or whatever. Your future is the lake. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing after that. It just ends. I'm not threatening you. I just know you. I know where you're going. And there's no stopping it. You chose it. That's why you're going there. Has nothing to do with me or anyone else. You chose the lake. That is your destiny. I'm sorry, Leon. You looked real cute, though, with the Baphomet on your chest. I'm sure it'll be worth it. I'm sorry, Donnie. That goat with the $100 bills, that's with your face on it and said, "In Trump we trust." I'm sure that tribute to Satan will be worth it. In the end, Donnie. And Pete, I'm sure, just like you're planning, just like you're hoping, you'll be able to walk lockstep with the Antichrist and be his literal surveillance and subjugation hand. I'm sure, Pete, you'll be able to avoid Armageddon and Christ turning you into mush. and you going in the lake with your imp daddy and your orange-faced, shitty diapered Antichrist. On the battlefield, Pete. That's going to be so many of your last moment. And it's not 20 years away. It's much closer than that. What I'm trying to tell you all, Miss Adelson as well, so many others. Your destiny was always one thing in one place. No matter what you do, what you throw money at, however many democracies or liberals you kill. Just the lake, just fire. I'm sorry. I didn't choose it. I just have this feeling, and I could be completely wrong. I've been wrong about so many things and people in my life. I just have this feeling a lot of people are going to come to me and just be like, why? Tears in their eyes, why? And I'm just going to tell them, you chose it. I'm sorry. I didn't choose it. You chose it. There's nothing that can be done about that. We all walk the path we chose to walk. You didn't take the man seriously. You wanted your empire here on earth. And you attempted to make that happen. And you served the devil wholeheartedly, with joy. Therefore, of what use are you to the man? None. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I just got this feeling of a line of people in front of me. Maybe I'll be in the line. I take nothing for granted. Just saying, like, why? What did I do? Why do I deserve this? I just feel like I'm going to have to explain that to a lot of people, or maybe it'll get explained to me when they throw my ass in. Who knows? But I do know this. There are sides to this. And, you know, there's got to be something in your heart oftentimes to want to serve the devil or to want to be something else. Maybe some of you, when you were young, you said, yeah, I want to make a deal with you. Give me fame, give me money, whatever, however you worded it. Maybe you were naive and didn't realize, I don't know, but to even contemplate that route, because we all know that route's there, deep down. We know that route's there. And by route, I mean path. And it doesn't have to be a path of words. It could be a path of actions where you just decide in your mind one day, okay, I'm going to start doing evil shit to get ahead, to be, you know, like Andrew Tate or whatever. Or maybe you'll rob banks, or maybe you'll scam people, or maybe you'll do this, or you know what I mean? You can walk that path with actions, not with words necessarily, where you make a straight up deal with words. So again, you kind of have to choose it. It's really not something that just happens to you. And again, back to my final point I was trying to make so I could get out of here. There are sides to this. And there's going to come a moment where you literally have to choose a side. There will be no wiggle room. You can get out of it. You don't have to take part. No. That's what I'm talking about. You're going to have to definitively choose a side at some point. You won't have a choice. You'll have to declare yourself, in other words. Am I of the beast and the beast system? Am I going to worship the beast and the image? Am I going to take the mark? Or am I going to walk the other path? The path of God, which might result in me being beheaded for not taking the mark, worshiping the beast, worshiping the devil, literally. The path where you're not allowed to take part in society, at least that's how it appears in the story. Unless there's some loophole where you can still eat and work and do that I don't know about. I don't think there will be. The point of that moment, again, for thousands of years, the devil's been looking forward to it, is to separate us. The real Christians, the people of God, let me put it that way. The ones who won't take the mark, because I assume some won't be declared, won't have the identity of a Christian per se. They still might not take the mark. And in my heart, in my mind, and I have a feeling the man would agree, that's a child of God. That's a person of God. Even if they're a Buddhist their whole fucking life, that mark comes along, they say, no, I'm not doing it. I'd rather die. Even though they're not a Christian. I just have this feeling that God will consider that one of his children, one of his people. Even though the book, because I want to be clear, says you have to accept Jesus Christ. That's a requirement. But I just have this feeling. Maybe they will accept Jesus at that moment. I don't know. Maybe by not taking the mark, you are accepting Jesus, son. That's why the devil going to hate your ass. And I mean hate. That's the feeling I have in this situation. That anyone who says no, I don't care what religion they practice, who they believe in, whatever. Because by saying no, you're making a statement that I am a child of God, in my opinion. And the Reich sure as fuck going to consider you one, son. You're going to learn that lesson. Even if you don't consider yourself one. Because all that's going to matter, whether you're an atheist, Christian, Jew, Buddhist, whatever you are, all that's going to matter is you are saying no to worship of the devil and the Antichrist. They take the highest offense to that. That's what you'll be saying by saying no. No, I'm not worshiping the devil. No, I'm not worshiping the image. No, I'm not worshiping the Antichrist. No, I'm not taking the mark. Now you're revealed, nowhere to hide. That's the point of the exercise. The devil gets all his souls of all of you that take the mark. That's guaranteed. Once you take it, there is no redemption after that point. That's why I've been yelling for 10 years. That's how fucking dire it is. That's your last free moment as a redeemable entity, if you desire that. So the devil gets his souls, everyone that takes the mark. Irredeemable, lake fodder, guaranteed, inevitable. Every single person that does that says, I'll worship the devil and reject God, and I'll take the mark. Your destiny is the lake. That's simple. Your soul is forfeit. Your name is blotted out of the book of life. That means you don't exist. And you never did. You were dead before you were born. That sounds kind of serious to me. So the devil gets his souls. The true children of God, Christian, whatever you want to call them, Christians, Jew, whatever you want to call them. The ones that refuse to worship the devil and the Antichrist. That's what they're doing when they refuse the mark. Those two things happen simultaneously. And once you reveal yourself as a child of God, you know the devil doesn't like children of God, right? The entirety of the Reich is of the devil. They're probably going to be coming for you if they don't take you right away. So one, all of you that are laughing now, helping with money, time, energy, and prayer to Satan for your fascist AI oligarch utopia. Your destiny is the lake, guaranteed, inevitable, and I'm much wiser than you ever were. You who do not take the mark, you are an automatic child of God, and the Reich will treat you that way, and I have a feeling God will treat you that way. And you will have eternal life according to the promise, and you will have rest. You will have immortality. You will have a new body, a perfect one. You will have eternal life. You will have rewards. Rewards you can't fathom. I can't fathom them either. Fathom them, excuse me, my mumbling ass. As long as the promises are true, and from what I'm seeing, I sure hope they are. Because it's getting kind of ugly down here. Not that it wasn't before. But we go into some whole new shit with a military that is capable of taking over the world and an AI that is capable of policing people, not in an efficient, effective way, but in a very scary one. Scary enough. The data gathering ability of AI to do the quick searches and come up with everything about you since you were born is the danger right there. That's dangerous enough. And that's what it's for, son. It's all it ever was for. So to those of you who do not take the mark, I commend you in advance, for it will not be easy, and you will be few. That's another feeling I have. And what you're going to find, and I hate to say this, but it's a reality. People in your life, your wife, your husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, son, daughter, uncle, aunt, grandma, mom, dad, some of them, if not all of them, will take the mark. And you will be standing alone. A lot of people that say right now that they won't take it, or that they would never take it, will not live up to that. You have to be prepared mentally for that. That will be the hardest part. Standing alone. But you have to do it. You can't worry about other people do. I'm talking even the closest people to you. You can beg them, you can counsel them, whatever you want to do. It's not going to work on everybody. In fact, it won't work on most people. Oh, that's what I got to do to participate in society? All right, I got to do it then. Because starving's too scary. The anger of the Reich is too scary. I don't want to rock the boat. One more time. Many people you think won't, will. The closest people to you. I'm hoping as many close people to you make the same choice you do and you all go to that place. That good place. But I know the reality of humanity. And I expect a lot of you to be standing alone. You have to be strong and do it. You have to. Christ was alone. I often think about that when I think about this, what I'm telling you right now, what I just explained. They grabbed him, they beat him, a beating a normal man would be able to take. Nailed him to the cross. He's dying or dead. Well, all the apostles thought, all 12 of them, they thought the kingdom of heaven was coming. They didn't hear half the shit Jesus said to them. They heard what they wanted to hear. Oh, we have the Christ with us, the King of the Jews, the Son of God. We believe it. We are his apostles. The kingdom of heaven is coming soon. We're not going to have to deal with persecution and death and all this misery and stuff anymore. The Christ is here. Kingdom of God has begun. Next thing they know, he's gone, arrested, enemy of the state, nailed to a cross. The law is going around because they want to kill the whole movement, son. They don't just want to kill him. This movement's dangerous. This movement's questioning Jewish religious authority. We can't have that. This movement's gaining a following. We can't have that. So as they came to each apostle, as this one fled there, this one fled there, the authorities, as they asked people, are you a Christian? Are you a follower of Christ? Because if you are, come with us. What did they all say? Little children. Valuable lesson right here. What did all the apostles one by one say? As the authorities hunted them down and asked, are you a follower of Christ? Are you a Christian? Were you associated with this Jesus person? Nope, I don't know him. Everyone said that. Peter the apostle came to Christ shortly before his death and basically said, Christ, I'll do anything for you. I'll protect. I'll never turn my back on you. I love you. How many times have we heard that from people? The promises. The over-the-top promises. Christ told Peter, before the cock crows, you will deny me thrice. Because one, Christ knew some of the future. Two, Christ knew human nature. So that's exactly what happened. Peter was approached 3 times after Christ was taken. All 3 times he denied he was associated with Christ out of fear for his life. That was Christ's most loyal, dedicated apostle, son. Do you hear me? So when you think my wife would never do that to me, my husband would never do that, my son, my daughter, my mother, my father, my friend, my coworker, my uncle, my aunt, yes, they would, son. Yes, they goddamn would. I'm hoping at least some of those people in your life wouldn't. All I know is, and it's a great example of human behavior, it went like this. Christ, I love you so much. I'll do anything for you. I'll never turn my back. Next thing you know, I never even knew the motherfucker. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know Jesus. That's human nature. And the closest person to you is capable of it. I hope I'm wrong about them. But I have a feeling For most, I'm not. My point again, you may be standing alone. That this is deadly serious. This is, you can't participate in society. This is people fearing for their lives. Especially in America, people don't make sacrifices like that for others. Not for God, especially. Oh my God, forget about that. So I assume most are going to go along, and I assume a lot of you are going to be standing alone. I know I'll be standing alone. I already expect that. I expected it a long time ago. So remember, Christ stood alone, not one apostle, as it all went down. Once he got taken and they realized, oh shit, I guess the kingdom in heaven ain't coming. I guess I don't want to die like Christ. I'll just deny him. I'll just go back to my old life. Christ stood alone, and he went to the cross anyway, willingly. For all of us. That's what they tell us anyway. And again, from what I'm seeing, it's becoming more true. These other aspects that we haven't seen, more true by the day. And again, once, if I'm still alive, which I doubt, when the two witnesses come and they die and come back to life, if that takes place and I see it, well, then that's the concrete proof for all. Because it won't be like Donnie's resurrection, you know what I'm saying? It'll be something totally different. So the more I see per day, and since Assassination Day, I can only run with the assumption that if all those parts are true and real and happening, the other parts must be true and real and will happen. And the old parts talked about in the older parts of the book earlier in time, well, I guess they must have happened too. Until I see the thing that makes me certain I'm wrong. And if I see that, I'll be happy to fucking say it. Believe me. I won't be embarrassed, ashamed, whatever. If I see something that tells me for certain that Donnie's not it, this isn't it, I'm just dead wrong about it all, I would love to say that to you, man. I would love to. It wouldn't hurt my ego, pride, whatever. I could fucking care less about any of that. I'd rather not be in the apocalypse. I'd rather not deal with your Antichrist. I'd rather not deal with the cunts that think the Antichrist is a good idea and what they've done to our world. I'd rather not deal with Armageddon. If I even live that long, which I can't see myself being alive at that point. The Reich would have done away with me by then. That's the end point. I'd rather be wrong is what I'm trying to say. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And remember, you may be standing alone. You need to be prepared for that. I'm dead serious. You really need to prepare yourself for that. I've already been shown that about me. I've known for a while now. And I get it. And I understand that Christ did that as well. There was no one there. Just him. And his own people denied him after they grabbed him. So keep that in mind. Try and mentally prepare as best you can, because you may have to face it all alone. was trying to think of something positive to say after that, but I can't. Have a wonderful evening. Until the next episode.